Ah, welcome, welcome, welcome. You know exactly what you did. And so does Elon. That's the thing that makes this different from all the other moves people try, all the other innovations, all the pitches, the flashes, the predictable patterns of effort and claim. He watched it 3 times. The first time he thought he had misread something. The second time he slowed it down, rewound, analyzed every frame, every word, every nuance. The third time, he stopped trying to understand it altogether, and his face went blank. That pause wasn't hesitation. It wasn't disbelief. It wasn't admiration. It was a system encountering an input it couldn't process, a mind calibrated to see the edges of every move, every calculation, every potential, suddenly confronted with something that didn't obey any rules it had internalized. Most people don't realize what it means to be on the other side of someone like Elon Musk's intellect. People assume he reacts quickly because he's impulsive or because he's dramatic. They don't see the months, years, decades of scanning, dissecting, predicting, mastering context. When Elon Musk's face goes blank, it's not because he didn't understand. It's because he literally cannot fit the information into the framework his brain uses to make sense of the world. That's a rare phenomenon. That's what makes what you just did dangerous, not in the violent sense, but in the sense that it cannot be contained, cannot be reduced, cannot be neutralized by the usual methods of interpretation. And the brilliance of what you did is that it wasn't loud. It didn't scream for attention. It didn't demand context or validation. You didn't spell it out. You didn't frame it. You let it exist in its own space, and that is what broke the pattern recognition. People at Elon Musk's level don't respond to noise. They respond to violations of expectation. They respond to the things that challenge the models they use to predict behavior, to the formulas they rely on to measure possibility. And your move, whatever it was, wasn't just unexpected. It was uncategorizable. Think about that for a second. Elon Musk has watched more product launches, more innovations, more strategic plays than almost anyone alive. He has been the architect of vision and execution, the person who anticipates competitors' moves before they themselves realize what they're doing. And yet he had to watch it 3 times, not to enjoy it, not to learn from it, not to prepare a response, but to comprehend it at all. That's the kind of disturbance you created. That's the kind of intellectual gap that isn't filled by curiosity or effort. It can only exist when someone operates on a level of clarity and precision that the observer cannot parse. And it doesn't stop there. Because when Elon Musk's face went blank, that pause echoed farther than the screen you crossed. It reached the edges of the industry. People who work inside aerospace, inside technology, inside markets that respond almost instantly to signals they felt the ripple. Not the panic, not the hype. The subtle, almost imperceptible pause that comes when the benchmark, the measuring stick, the person who normally defines what is possible, suddenly cannot define it. That pause spreads. It creates recalculation. It forces every person who depends on his framework to stop and consider, did we miss something? Did someone just redefine the parameters while we weren't looking? And here's the quiet truth. It wasn't cleverness. It wasn't theatrics. It wasn't some flashy stunt that looks like mastery. It was understanding the mechanics of observation and interaction so thoroughly that you could operate in plain sight, visible, measurable, and still ungraspable. You didn't hide. You didn't obscure. You didn't perform ambiguity. You did something that couldn't be explained with standard analysis. Something that forced the most experienced, the most practiced, the most cognitively tuned people in the room, to encounter a wall of incomprehension. That's why Elon Musk didn't blink. He didn't lean in. He didn't sigh or smirk or shake his head. He just stopped. That face of blankness is not confusion in the normal sense. It is the mental recognition that the system, the internal operating code, cannot compute the input. And that is a very dangerous place to put someone like him, because he doesn't panic easily. He doesn't overreact. He doesn't mislabel threat. But he notices immediately the things he cannot anticipate. And when he notices them, everyone else around him notices as well, whether they understand why or not. The thing that makes your move devastating is not that it was complex. It wasn't about outsmarting the obvious. It was about outsmarting the cognitive expectation itself. People are trained to see patterns, to trace cause and effect, to predict outcomes. They can calculate leverage points, probabilities, motivations, and angles. You didn't just operate outside their predictions. You rendered the predictions themselves irrelevant. You presented information that could not be fit into an existing model. And that kind of intellectual outplay doesn't just cause pause, it causes reevaluation of entire assumptions. And here's the next layer. It's one thing to confuse a mind like Elon's in a single instance. That's impressive. But you repeated it, or at least allowed it to be encountered repeatedly. He watched it 3 times, which is not casual. It's not attention. It's analysis. He needed to confirm. And confirmation failed every time. Every replay reinforced the inability to classify. Every replay deepened the sense that there's something fundamentally different happening. And when people like Elon Musk confirm an anomaly like this, they do not keep it to themselves. Without overt signaling, without drama, without announcement, the entire web of influence begins to respond quietly. Decisions, strategies, expectations, they all shift in ways invisible but unavoidable. You did not seek that shift. You did not plan it. You did not frame it. You simply acted, or perhaps you simply allowed the natural unfolding of skill, insight, and timing to reveal itself. And because it came without posturing, without explanation, without appeal, it could not be dismissed. It could not be appropriated. It could not be reduced to a formula, a trend, a meme, a talking point. It was self-contained, self-validating, and unreadable. Most people will never understand this distinction. They assume influence is about visibility, about recognition, about control. But this was different. This was about comprehension. The moment Elon Musk could not comprehend what you just did, the moment his mind hesitated in the face of clarity, he inadvertently signaled something far more powerful than your action itself. That signal spreads. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't brag. It simply exists as evidence that a higher order pattern is at work, one that even the best minds cannot predict. And that's what makes the ripple unavoidable. Because the industry, while it watches for spectacle, thrives on anticipation. It thrives on leaders who can be measured, on genius that can be categorized, on innovation that can be rationalized. When someone produces an output that cannot be rationalized, the default reaction isn't awe. It's pause, review, recalculation, subtle anxiety. That's why Elon's face went blank. That's why the executives, the analysts, the engineers, the influencers all noticed. That's why quiet conversations, small meetings, and private briefings began to orbit around your move. And it's not about the content itself. It's not about the technical brilliance or novelty, though those exist. It's about intellectual ownership of the invisible framework. You didn't just do something smart. You did something that could not be processed by a mind that normally processes almost everything. That distinction is subtle, but critical. It changes everything. Because everyone else in the room knows that if Elon Musk can't parse it, then any model, any prediction, any plan, any attempt to control the narrative is suddenly uncertain. And uncertainty at that level does not feel like a hypothesis. It feels like a shift in reality itself. And here's the final point. You didn't do it once and vanish. You didn't leave an obvious trail. You allowed the work to exist, visible but not explained, reproducible but not predictable. Elon Musk, the industry, everyone who saw it, they can analyze, dissect, speculate. They can talk about it, try to imitate it, argue over it. But they cannot truly anticipate it. They cannot fully understand it. They cannot reduce it. And that is why the moment you act again, whether immediately or later, will land with the same effect. Recalibration, pause, blank processing, and a quiet, cascading ripple that moves through the top tiers of influence without ever announcing itself. What happens next is never public at first. That's something people misunderstand about moments like this. They expect reaction to look loud, visible, dramatic. They expect statements, tweets, panels, headlines. But at this level, reaction looks like absence. It looks like rooms going quiet after your name is mentioned. It looks like people choosing different words, asking different questions, postponing decisions they were confident about an hour earlier. Elon doesn't comment. He doesn't explain. He doesn't dismiss it either. He stores it. And when someone like Elon stores something mentally, it doesn't sit idle. It becomes a reference point, a silent comparison against which future information is measured. The industry feels that shift immediately, even if no one can articulate it, because so much of how this world operates depends on shared assumptions. Assumptions about who leads, who follows, who reacts, who sets direction. When Elon Musk encounters something he cannot decode, those assumptions loosen, not collapse, loosen. And loosened assumptions make people uneasy. They create space where certainty used to be, space where new hierarchies can form without permission. You have to understand how rare this is. Elon's entire reputation is built on speed of comprehension. He sees patterns before they harden. He understands systems while others are still describing them. So when he doesn't immediately get something, the issue isn't intelligence, it's orientation. Your move didn't meet him on familiar ground. It didn't challenge him directly. It stepped sideways, forcing him to rotate mentally just to find a place to stand. And that rotation takes time. Meanwhile, others are watching him watch. They notice the extra replay. They notice the lack of comment. They notice the difference between this and the thousands of other things that cross his attention daily. People at this level are experts in reading micro-reactions, not because they're dramatic, but because those micro-reactions determine resource flow. When Elon pauses, capital pauses. When he recalibrates, timelines shift. When he withholds judgment, entire teams do the same. That's how the ripple grows, quietly, invisibly, through alignment rather than instruction. No one says, "This changes everything." But everyone starts acting as if something has changed. They double-check assumptions. They ask for second opinions. They revisit decisions that were supposedly final. And somewhere inside all of that, your work sits, unaddressed but ever present, like a reference no one can quite remove from the equation. What's fascinating is that the industry keeps trying to approach this the wrong way. They assume there must be a trick, a shortcut, a clever manipulation. a hidden layer that explains everything, if only they can isolate it. So they dissect the surface, they study the structure, they copy elements they think matter, and none of it works. Because the thing that unsettled Elon Musk wasn't on the surface. It wasn't technical flair or presentation. It was the underlying logic, the internal coherence that didn't announce itself but held everything together. That's why imitation fails so quickly. Others reproduce what they can see, but they can't reproduce what they can't perceive. And what they can't perceive is the internal discipline behind the move. The refusal to over-explain. The decision to let the results stand without justification. The absence of signaling that normally gives observers a handle. You didn't give them a handle. You didn't give them a story to repeat. You gave them something that worked without telling them why. Elon understands this instinctively, even if he can't articulate it yet. He knows the difference between complexity and depth. He knows when something is merely intricate versus when it's fundamentally aligned. That's why the confusion lingers. That's why it doesn't resolve with more data. More data usually clarifies. In this case, more data only reinforces the same conclusion. There is no obvious angle of attack. And this is where the pressure quietly flips. At first, the attention is on you. Who are you? Where did this come from? What does it mean? But as time passes without resolution, the attention turns inward. Why didn't we see this coming? Why don't our models account for this? What else are we missing? That internal questioning is far more destabilizing than any external threat, because it undermines confidence in the tools people rely on to feel competent. You don't participate in this questioning. You don't correct misconceptions. You don't clarify intent. You don't step in to guide interpretation. That restraint is not accidental. It's part of the same posture that created the effect in the first place. You understand something most people never learn. Explanation is a form of control, but it's also a form of exposure. By refusing to explain, you remain intact. By remaining intact, you stay unreadable. Elon's confusion becomes a kind of anchor. People reference it indirectly. He's still thinking about that. He hasn't commented yet. He re-watched it. Those statements carry weight not because of what they say, but because of what they imply. If someone at that level hasn't resolved it, then no one else is comfortable pretending they have. That shared uncertainty creates a strange equality at the top, where everyone is waiting for someone else to speak first, and no one does. So the industry enters a holding pattern without realizing it. Innovation continues, projects move forward. But there's a subtle hesitation now, a sense that something foundational may have shifted. People are more cautious about declaring certainty, more careful about assuming leadership. They are watching not just you, but each other, trying to see who adjusts first. What makes this moment so powerful is that you are not competing with Elon Musk. You are not positioning yourself against him. You are not challenging his authority or attempting to replace his role. That would be readable. That would invite response. Instead, you exist adjacent to his field of influence without acknowledging it. You operate as if his reaction, or lack thereof, is irrelevant to your process. And that indifference is what turns curiosity into concern. Because indifference from someone capable signals independence. It suggests that whatever internal compass guided your move does not rely on external validation, even from the most influential figures alive. That's a rare signal, one that cannot be bought, imitated, or forced. It has to be genuine. And genuine signals are the hardest to deal with because they can't be negotiated with. As time passes, the narrative others try to build around your move grows more elaborate. Some say it was accidental, some say it was inevitable, some say it will fade. But none of those explanations stick, because Elon still hasn't resolved it. And until he does, no explanation feels complete. His blank reaction remains an open loop in the collective mind of the industry. You are aware of this, but you are not consumed by it. That's another detail people miss. They assume that causing this level of disturbance must come with obsession, with constant monitoring, with a need to track reactions. But your attention hasn't shifted. Your work continues. Your focus remains internal. And that consistency further destabilizes attempts to predict you. The industry keeps waiting for a follow-up that explains the first move, a clarification, a justification, a reveal that makes it all make sense in hindsight. But that reveal never comes. Instead, what comes next, if anything, simply exists on its own terms as well. And when that happens, the pattern becomes undeniable. This wasn't a fluke. This is a way of operating. Elon begins to recognize that too. Not consciously at first, but instinctively. He stops trying to decode the specific move and starts paying attention to the posture behind it. The discipline, the restraint, the refusal to play familiar games. That's when interest deepens into something else entirely. Not admiration, not threat, assessment. An assessment at that level doesn't rush. It watches, it waits, it compares. It looks for leverage and finds none. Because leverage requires access, and you haven't offered any. You haven't invited collaboration. You haven't invited opposition. You haven't invited interpretation. You've simply demonstrated capability and moved on. That's why the industry can't settle. They are used to reacting, used to categorizing, used to placing people within known hierarchies. You resist placement. You don't fit above or below. You sit outside the frame entirely. And frames are how complex environments stay manageable. When something sits outside the frame, it demands a new one. The creation of a new frame is slow. It happens through conversation, observation, repetition. It happens when enough people quietly agree that the old frame no longer applies. Elon's blank reaction accelerates that process. It gives permission to doubt existing assumptions. It legitimizes uncertainty. You didn't ask for that permission. You didn't need it. But it was granted anyway. And once granted, it can't be taken back. So now the industry exists in a strange dual state. On the surface, everything looks normal. Progress continues. But underneath, there is an unresolved question that refuses to go away. Not about what you did, but about what else you might do, and whether anyone will see it coming next time. And that question lingers. It shapes decisions quietly. It alters risk calculations. It introduces hesitation where confidence once lived. All because one person, at the very top, watched something 3 times and couldn't explain it. You remain where you are, focused, unbothered, operating according to your own internal logic. And as that logic continues to produce results without explanation, the gap between perception and reality widens further. Which brings us to the edge of the next phase, because unresolved questions do not stay unresolved forever. They either dissolve or they force confrontation. And as the industry continues to orbit this moment, as Elon continues to carry that blank pause forward with him, the conditions quietly assemble for the next movement. Not louder, not clearer, but more consequential. And that is where this goes next. You need to understand the scale of what is about to unfold. Elon Musk's blank moment wasn't a fleeting hesitation. It wasn't an aesthetic pause that disappears with the next update or tweet. It was a reconfiguration of expectation at the very top. When someone at his level freezes, it isn't just his cognition that shifts. It radiates. Teams adjust. Advisors rethink timelines. Competitors reconsider moves. Investors hesitate. Analysts second-guess models. That pause becomes a vector of influence, subtle but pervasive, impossible to ignore even if you wanted to. And you didn't force it. You didn't orchestrate spectacle. You didn't hint or leak or manipulate. You acted, or perhaps you existed, in a way that couldn't be predicted, couldn't be reverse-engineered, couldn't be slotted into the mental scaffolding of even the most prepared minds. Elon observed, paused, and immediately, without speaking, triggered a recalibration. That recalibration spreads, silently, invisibly, across the entire ecosystem that depends on him. Because in a world governed by Elon Musk's anticipatory frameworks, when his understanding halts, so does the rhythm of countless adjacent decisions. The brilliance of what you just accomplished is that it operates entirely through comprehension, or the absence of it. Not through influence, not through dominance, not through dramatic gestures. Those are low-level manipulations. You've created a situation where the impossibility itself exerts authority. You've designed an effect that exists independently of intention, independently of narrative, independently of anyone's capacity to control it. And that is what terrifies people quietly. It's not that they cannot win against you. It's that they cannot understand you. They cannot predict you. They cannot categorize you. And in an environment like this, that is a far greater form of power than any overt action. And yet, you continue forward, not slowly, not cautiously, but deliberately, almost surgically, aware that your actions are redefining the mental rules of engagement without creating visible conflict. You do not declare victory. You do not insist on recognition. You do not give Elon Musk, or anyone else, the satisfaction of framing your move as a challenge or a statement. That restraint is another layer of the effect, because the moment you require explanation, the moment you demand recognition, you create a handle. And a handle is what the system seizes to restore control. You removed the handle entirely, which brings us to the next subtle truth. The industry doesn't know how to respond. Elon doesn't know how to respond. They can't go silent forever, but neither can they act decisively. Their natural impulses are to measure, to predict, to leverage. But there is nothing measurable here. There is no precedent. There is no prior data to compare. Every familiar tactic of influence fails because your methodology, if it can even be called that, is invisible. You don't posture. You don't signal, you simply exist, and the results accumulate. That is the quiet terror. That is the blank that Elon felt. That is the ripple that spreads through the industry without anyone ever formally acknowledging it. They begin to analyze patterns. Meetings are convened. Charts are drawn. Reports are circulated. But every report ultimately concludes the same thing. We don't know how this happened. And the phrase carries weight because it comes after hours of disciplined observation, after repeated exposure, after Elon himself failed to resolve it. This isn't ordinary confusion. This is systemic recalibration, forced by the realization that someone can act outside the predictive models that define everything around them. And here's the fascinating part. Your presence doesn't just unsettle. It accelerates evolution, not through competition, not through confrontation, not through loud declaration, but through quiet insistence on possibility. People who encounter the work, who see the effect, unconsciously expand their own expectations of what is achievable. Elon sees it. He doesn't comment. But his internal frameworks shift. He recalibrates, recalculates, considers what the boundaries really are. And those boundaries are no longer certain. The industry, in turn, absorbs that uncertainty. Teams that would normally proceed with standard protocols pause just slightly. Investments are delayed, strategic decisions reconsidered, risk models updated. Not because you instructed them to, not because you announced your intentions, but because someone at the top, the person whose mind sets the rhythm, cannot predict you. That ripple moves in ways that are invisible, untraceable, but profoundly effective. And it's important to notice this subtlety. You didn't need to dominate the narrative. You didn't need to create tension or conflict. You didn't even need to announce the significance of your move. The fact that it exists and is visible without being explainable is sufficient. That is the hallmark of intellectual leverage at the highest level. The ability to induce systemic recalibration simply by acting in a way that aligns perfectly with your own principles while remaining opaque to observers. Elon, like the rest of the industry, begins to look for patterns that aren't there. They search for precedent. They try to map your logic against familiar frameworks. And every attempt fails. They cannot find it because it isn't external. It is internal. It is how you process, how you choose, how you align insight, timing, and execution. It is invisible until results appear. And the results, some are undeniable. The output cannot be disputed. But the input, impossible to trace. This is what turns a single action into a sustained phenomenon. You are not a disruptor because you interrupted a process. You are a disruptor because you exist on a level that disrupts comprehension itself. Every observer knows something is different, but they cannot say what. Every analysis hits a wall. Every attempt at simplification fails. And yet the effect accumulates. Elon Musk's blank face is the emblem of this effect. It is the human recognition of a process that cannot be processed. And that leads to a critical insight for the next stage. Influence is not the same as attention. Influence does not depend on visibility, commentary, or acknowledgement. Influence depends on the alignment between action and outcome in a space observers cannot fully control. You do not seek to be influential in a conventional sense. You seek to act according to principle while remaining opaque. And that is infinitely more destabilizing than any declared confrontation could ever be. The pause Elon Musk experienced is now being carried forward in subtle ways. Boardroom discussions, investment decisions, project timelines, all are quietly affected because the most powerful mind in that network is uncertain. And uncertainty, even silent, spreads. That is the secret of your impact. It doesn't require amplification. It doesn't require performance. It requires clarity of purpose, precision of action, and strategic invisibility of method. Meanwhile, the ripple strengthens because the industry continues to look for an explanation. They analyze data, interviews, market moves, social signals. They search for a narrative that will restore predictability. They cannot find it. And every failed attempt reinforces the perception that something unique, irreducible, and untouchable is operating at the center of their ecosystem. That perception grows quietly, unannounced, like a gravitational pull that subtly shifts trajectories. And you do not participate in any of this. You maintain presence where it matters. You produce outcomes where they matter. But your attention is selective. disciplined. You are not monitoring Elon's pause. You are not reacting to the industry's recalibration. You are simply continuing along your own trajectory, guided by your own internal logic. That is why your effect is so enduring. It cannot be reversed because it never depended on external validation. Which brings us to the threshold of the next moment. Because the industry, once destabilized in this way, cannot simply return to equilibrium. Once a mind like Elon Musk's has been paused, once patterns have failed to contain something, once uncertainty has spread quietly through decisions and strategy, the system is altered. It will try to stabilize, but it can never fully return to the prior state. Your move has permanently shifted the reference points, the benchmarks, the measures of what is possible. And now, the conditions for the final phase are quietly, imperceptibly forming. Elon's blank face is not a memory, it is a pivot point. The ripple you created will consolidate into influence without announcement, authority without performance, and disruption without spectacle. It is the rare combination of action, precision, and incomprehensibility. And the moment it consolidates, it will redefine the playing field entirely. You remain unchanged, calm, focused, intentional. Not because you are detached, but because you understand that the real leverage is internal, invisible, and enduring. And that is what separates this from ordinary disruption. That is why Elon's pause and the industry's recalibration are not temporary. They are the beginning of a quiet transformation that moves under the surface, unseen but unstoppable. Now here's the subtle brilliance of what has been set in motion. Elon Musk may have watched it 3 times. He may have tried to reverse engineer it, analyze it, model it, discuss it with the people around him. And yet he cannot fully understand it. Not because he is lacking intelligence or vision, not because he failed to notice. He cannot understand it because it exists outside the predictable dimensions of his expectation. And when someone like Elon encounters something that cannot be predicted, it does not vanish, it lingers, it reshapes, it becomes a reference that cannot be erased. The ripple expands quietly, imperceptibly, across the networks that depend on clarity, on predictable cause and effect. Investors, partners, advisors, competitors, they are all subtly influenced by the pause, the unresolved outcome, the impossibility of anticipating your next move. Every decision they make from this moment forward is measured against a new, invisible baseline. A baseline you established without any announcement, without hype, without confrontation. That is the genius of it. You didn't disrupt. You transcended the expectation of disruption. You made disruption irrelevant because the framework itself no longer applies. And notice this. Elon's blank face becomes a symbol, not an endpoint. It is a marker in time that everyone will reference mentally, even when the specific event fades. Remember that moment when Elon didn't react? It becomes shorthand for the kind of impact that cannot be fully processed, anticipated, or contained. And that shorthand guides behavior across the industry. People hesitate, they double-check, they reconsider what they thought they knew. They operate more cautiously, more thoughtfully, more observantly. And all of this is happening without a single word from you. You did not need to speak. You did not need to justify. You did not need to explain. Every analyst, every boardroom discussion, every conference call that references your work is doing the work for you. They are carrying forward the recognition that something has shifted, even if they cannot articulate it. That recognition quietly reinforced is far more enduring than headlines, tweets, or public spectacle ever could be. And here's the next layer. Elon Musk is still observing, still analyzing, still unconsciously adjusting. He may never articulate it publicly. He may never tweet about it. But internally, he is recalibrating. His perception of possibility has been altered. His mental models of what can be executed, what can be anticipated, what can be controlled, have been expanded. And those models influence countless decisions, not just his own, but the decisions of the teams, investors, and collaborators who operate around him. That is leverage at the highest level, creating transformation without coercion, without noise, without explicit confrontation. You didn't force compliance. You didn't seek recognition. You simply acted or existed in a way that made the existing models insufficient. And insufficiency creates the conditions for systemic change. Meanwhile, the industry searches for rational explanations. They dissect the visible elements. They try to isolate technique, method, or strategy. They convene meetings, run simulations, conduct analyses. And every time they do, they encounter the same result. There is no external mechanism to grasp. What they see is real, measurable, undeniable. But the cause is embedded internally, in your logic, your timing, your deliberate alignment of action and principle. That is why imitation fails, speculation falters, and Elon's pause persists. And it is not just Elon who is affected. Anyone operating at a high level within the ecosystem absorbs the subtle shift. Teams pause before executing. Collaborators reconsider standard approaches. Competitors question previously reliable assumptions. Small actions, small decisions, all recalibrated around an event that was never meant to be spectacular. That is the quiet power of operating outside expectation. That is the distinction between influence and control. You did not seek to control anyone. You simply acted in alignment with your internal logic, and control became irrelevant. What makes this enduring is that your leverage is self-contained and invisible. You do not expend energy managing perception. You do not manipulate outcomes overtly. You do not broadcast superiority. You simply embody a process that produces outcomes which cannot be anticipated or replicated by others. And the moment others recognize that, the effect compounds. The blank pause Elon felt does not remain a single event. It becomes a recurring reference point, a standard by which the unpredictable is measured. And the more it is referenced, the more entrenched its influence becomes. You see, this is the ultimate form of strategic disruption, not the kind that grabs headlines for hours or days, not the kind that provokes immediate reaction, the kind that resets expectations, realigns priorities, and introduces uncertainty at the highest level, all without explicit interference. Elon Musk may never fully understand it. He may never codify it. And that is precisely why your impact endures. The final point, and the most profound, is this. Your effect is multiplicative. Each time the industry encounters your work, encounters the consequences, or recalls Elon's pause, it compounds. They anticipate patterns, but patterns do not exist. They seek precedent, but precedent fails. They attempt control, but access has been denied. And over time, this creates a network of influence, silent but undeniable, that shapes decisions, behaviors, and perceptions in ways that cannot be counteracted by conventional strategies. And you don't stop. You continue to act, to create, to exist along your trajectory. You do not engage in reactive calculation. You do not explain. You do not perform. Your work simply accumulates, and with each accumulation, Elon's pause and the industry's recalibration become a permanent reference point, a standard against which every subsequent move is measured, yet one that can never be fully understood or replicated. That is why the ripple is unstoppable. That is why what you just did, whatever it was, however it manifested, cannot be nullified. That is why Elon Musk, one of the most analytically capable minds alive, could watch 3 times and still not figure it out. Because the true mechanics of what you accomplished are not external. They are internal, invisible, strategic, and irreducible. And as the quiet transformation spreads, as recalibration settles into every adjacent decision-making process, you remain at the center, unchanged, unreadable, and fully intact. You did not fight. You did not boast. You did not signal superiority. You simply demonstrated a new law of engagement, and in doing so, reshaped the entire ecosystem quietly, but irrevocably. By the time observers, investors, partners, competitors, analysts, and even Elon begin to realize the magnitude of what occurred, it will already be woven into the fabric of their decision-making. It will no longer be a single event. It will be a reference, a benchmark, a silent measure of what is possible when someone operates without the need for permission, without expectation, and without exposure. And here is the final truth that concludes this sequence. You are untouchable, not because of force, not because of spectacle, not because of recognition, but because you exist outside the predictable frameworks of influence, comprehension, and expectation. Elon Musk's blank face was only the first visible signal. The full impact is ongoing, cumulative, and permanent. The industry has shifted quietly, irreversibly, and you did it without performing, without declaring, without inviting attention. You acted, and the world adjusted without realizing it. That is why this matters. That is why this endures. That is why Elon Musk, after 3 attempts to process it, still cannot fully comprehend what happened. And that is why, from this moment forward, every interaction, every project, every decision that touches your orbit is filtered through the invisible, untraceable, and undeniable influence you have established. No one can replicate it. No one can predict it. No one can counter it. And that is the final, unspoken, and unstoppable outcome of whatever you just did. Listen up, Kingslayer. Yes, you. Not the ordinary crowd scrolling, not the faceless herd chasing meaningless echoes. I'm talking to the one who stopped here, the one whose pulse just betrayed a spike. Don't deny it. You know why you're still listening, because someone more powerful than your wildest imagination has set his eyes on you. The kind of man who doesn't enter rooms. Rooms reshape themselves to fit his presence. The kind of man who doesn't shake hands for courtesy. He shakes hands to stamp a mark on destinies. And now, he wants yours. You don't believe me yet, do you? That's fine. Doubt is the instinct of prey when the predator steps into view. But make no mistake, this isn't about belief. This is about inevitability. You can roll your eyes, you can whisper denial, you can call this paranoia, but deep down you feel it. That invisible weight on your chest right now, that chill crawling at the back of your neck. Something enormous has moved in your direction. And it's not coincidence, it's target selection. The man I'm talking about, he doesn't waste his sight. He doesn't scatter his attention like confetti. His focus is a blade. And once that blade hovers over you, life as you knew it begins to disintegrate. Because this isn't just some important figure, some polished politician with empty speeches, some corporate titan whose power is measured in dollars. No, this is a man who redefines danger itself. His enemies vanish from history, his allies rise like legends. He's the type of man you whisper about in hushed tones, because saying his name too loud feels like drawing fire. The most dangerous man alive, and he has his eyes on you. Now pause and let that sink in. Out of billions, it's you. Do you feel flattered yet? You should. Not everyone gets chosen. Most people live their lives as disposable extras in someone else's script. But you, something about you triggered his interest. Maybe it's your raw defiance. Maybe it's that spark in you that refuses to be extinguished. Maybe it's the way you stare at the world with unpolished hunger, while everyone else pretends to be satisfied. Whatever it is, you've been flagged, not by luck, not by mistake, but by recognition. And here's the thing. When a man this dangerous decides he wants to meet you, you don't get to schedule it. You don't get to decline. He comes. And when he comes, reality bends around the encounter. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. Power rearranges itself. It's not a handshake. It's a seal, a branding iron, a mark burned onto the soul. After it, you don't walk the same. You don't think the same. You don't even breathe the same. But let's be brutally honest, you're scared, aren't you? You want to play it cool, but your chest feels heavier. You're asking yourself, why me? Why now? The truth. Because you've been moving like a wolf among sheep, and wolves attract attention, not from the shepherd, not from the butcher, but from the one who hunts hunters. That's who he is, the apex above the apex, the danger that makes even dangerous men tremble. He doesn't just command respect, he extracts it like blood from stone, and now he's extending his hand. Here's the psychological riddle, my sharp-eyed listener. If the most dangerous man alive wants to shake your hand, do you extend yours, or do you hide it? Either way, you're cornered. If you refuse, you insult power that doesn't forgive. If you accept, you step into a world that devours the unprepared. This isn't safety. This isn't opportunity wrapped in silk. This is raw exposure. This is you standing naked before a force that could crush you, elevate you, or both in the same breath. But admit it, you crave it. That's the real twist. Every cell in you screams with anticipation, even as your logic plays coward. Because buried in your veins is the hunger for something beyond ordinary. You're tired of shadows pretending to be giants. You're tired of shallow voices calling themselves leaders. You want to be touched by real power. You want to know what it feels like to stand at the edge of danger and not flinch. And now, that chance isn't coming. It's sprinting at you. Let's dissect him for a moment, shall we? This man doesn't play games. He is the game. Where others bluff, he bites. Where others negotiate, he dominates. His very presence is chaos wrapped in precision. People try to analyze him, label him, classify him, and every attempt collapses. Because he doesn't fit categories. He breaks them. He isn't predictable. He isn't tame. He's the embodiment of lethal calculation, and his motives are like smoke, intangible, but suffocating. And yet, he wants you. Do you realize how rare that is? Do you grasp the psychological chessboard you've just been invited to? You're not being recruited, you're being tested. A man like this doesn't need followers. He manufactures kings. But only if they survive his gaze. Only if they can withstand the crushing weight of proximity. Because standing near him feels like balancing on the edge of a skyscraper with no railing. Thrilling, terrifying, addictive. Let me give you the darker truth. His handshake isn't just contact. It's contamination. Once his hand locks with yours, a part of him seeps into you. His ruthlessness, his unshakable will, his refusal to bow. All of it burns its imprint. Some people can't handle it. They fracture, implode, disappear. But the ones who endure, they never return to ordinary life. They walk away, marked by danger itself. They become the kind of people that history writes about in uneven ink, controversial, unstoppable, unforgettable. So here's the paradox you're standing inside. You should fear him, but you should also worship the opportunity. Because if the most dangerous man alive wants to meet you, it means you've already stepped off the map. You're already part of something colossal, whether you admit it or not. You've crossed into territory where ordinary rules dissolve. Your comfort zone, gone. Your safety net, burned. You're in the arena now, and the spotlight has found you. Think carefully about the psychology at play here. He doesn't just come to meet people. He orchestrates encounters. Every step, every gesture, every word is intentional. So when he shakes your hand, it won't be casual. It'll be an initiation. The weight of his palm will press down like judgment. His grip will whisper, "I own the rhythm now." You either match it or you get trampled. That's how he operates. He doesn't meet people, he rewires them. Now let me ask you this. What will you do when you see him walk toward you? When his eyes lock with yours, unblinking, dissecting you as though he's reading a hidden script inside your skull? Will you hold his gaze, or will you fold like the rest? Because the handshake isn't about politeness, it's about dominance. The way you react in that moment will define you more than years of effort. That single contact will expose whether you're worthy of his recognition or just another wasted name. But remember, this isn't warning, it's preparation. Because he is coming. That's not speculation. That's not rumor. That's declaration. He doesn't stalk people for sport. He stalks for purpose. And when the purpose is you, it means you've got something inside you that even you haven't measured yet. Something potent, something volatile, something that drew his radar like a beacon in the dark. And when he arrives, he'll drag that hidden core out of you, whether you're ready or not. So brace yourself, not by running, not by trembling, but by sharpening. You need to understand that from the moment his hand reaches for yours, the entire room will fade away. It'll feel like the earth has stopped rotating, like sound itself has been gagged, like reality is holding its breath for your response. And in that suspended instant, you'll either rise into the echelon of the untouchable, or you'll collapse, consumed by pressure. This isn't about admiration. This is about alignment. The most dangerous man on earth doesn't meet people to compliment them. He meets them to measure their core, to see if they can withstand his orbit without disintegrating. And soon, very soon, you'll be standing in that measurement. His eyes on you, his hand extended, his presence rewriting the very air you breathe. And here's the final thought I'll leave you with for now. When he arrives, when you feel his shadow before you even see his face, when your pulse hammers against your ribs like it's trying to break free, remember this: you were chosen out of billions. You were summoned into danger's embrace, not to be destroyed, but to be tested. And that test begins the moment your hand meets his. Because the handshake isn't the end, it's the beginning. And the next phase, that's where the real war starts. Not bullets, not explosions, not battlefields drawn in mud and fire. The war I'm talking about is invisible. It happens inside you. The moment his hand touches yours, you'll feel it. The invasion, not of skin against skin, but of mind against mind. He doesn't just greet you, he enters you. He penetrates the walls you've built around your fears, your doubts, your fragile excuses, and he tears them apart like paper. And once he's inside, there's no locking the door again. That's what makes him the most dangerous man alive. It isn't just his empire of influence, his unshakable command, or his uncanny ability to bend situations in his favor. It's his psychological artillery. He knows how to pull people apart without lifting a weapon. He knows how to dismantle a soul piece by piece until all that's left is the raw truth you tried to bury. And when you meet him, when you shake his hand, that's exactly what you'll be exposed to. The mirror you've always avoided will be shoved in your face, and it won't blink until you confront the reflection. Let's be brutally honest here. Most people aren't built to survive that encounter. They've been living on scaffolds of delusion, patching themselves with lies, hiding their cowardice under fake smiles. When he arrives, those masks don't just slip, they shatter. And what's revealed underneath? Panic, fragility, weakness, the ugly truth of who they really are. That's why they fear him. That's why whispers of his name tighten throats and dry mouths. Because deep down, everyone knows. Standing in front of him is like standing trial before a judge who cannot be deceived. But you're not everyone. That's why you were selected. That's why he's coming to you. He doesn't waste time on the hollow. He doesn't spend energy on cardboard kings. He seeks out the sparks, the rare ones who might withstand the weight of his stare, the crush of his grip, the reality-bending tension of his presence. And in you, he saw that spark, that hunger, that defiance, that little refusal to bend when the world demands obedience. That's why you've been marked. That's why the most dangerous man on earth wants your hand. Do you understand what that means? It means you're already playing in a league you never asked for. It means history just placed a crown of fire above your head. It means that out of billions drowning in mediocrity, you've been pulled to the surface like a blade pulled from mud. And he, the man whose very existence bends empires, is reaching for you. That's not a coincidence. That's a signal that you're not meant to stay where you are, that your story is about to take a violent turn. But let me tell you this, don't mistake the handshake for a gift. It's not charity, it's not mercy, it's an interrogation. His palm is a battlefield. The pressure of his grip is a question, are you worthy? And when you squeeze back, your response better roar louder than words. Because the second his hand locks with yours, you've stepped into a contract written in pressure, carved in silence, sealed in energy. And contracts with him are not breakable. You want to know what happens next, don't you? You want to see beyond the door you're about to walk through? I'll show you. Imagine standing there, your hand caught in his eyes drilling into yours. The world falls away. Every sound, every distraction, every background face dissolves into static. It's just you and him, predator and chosen. That's when the transfer begins. You won't see it, but you'll feel it. A surge like lightning crawling through your veins. A violent reminder that you're no longer the same. That touch injects something into you. Call it willpower sharpened into a weapon. Call it venom that kills fear. Call it chaos condensed into clarity. Whatever it is, it sticks, and you'll never shake it off. But here's the danger. Once you've been touched by him, you can't go back to being ordinary. You can't return to small talk and safe lives. People around you will notice it. They'll sense it. They won't understand, but they'll feel it. The shift in your presence, the sharpened edge in your voice, the weight in your eyes. They'll ask themselves, what happened to you? And you won't even have the words, because how do you explain that you shook the hand of the most dangerous man alive, and he left a piece of himself inside you? That's why the war begins after the handshake, because you'll be torn between two realities. The old one that begged you to remain small, and the new one that demands you rise into his orbit. And don't fool yourself. That rise is brutal. It's not comfortable. It's not gentle. It's teeth and fire, blood and will. The price of walking beside him is the death of your excuses. And if you're not prepared to sacrifice them, then his very shadow will crush you. You think this is about admiration? No, this is about absorption. His danger doesn't stay confined to him. It spreads, infects, and rewrites. Shake his hand, and you'll carry his mark. Some call it blessing, some call it curse. But no one calls it neutral. It changes you, whether you like it or not. The question is, will it elevate you, or will it consume you? Let me give you a glimpse of what he expects from you. He expects unflinching resolve. He expects eyes that don't dart away when his dissect yours. He expects pressure in your grip that screams, I belong here. Because if you flinch, if you hesitate, if you tremble, he'll know. And once he knows, you're done. He has no use for trembling souls. He feeds on strength, and strength alone. So prepare yourself, not by memorizing words, not by practicing fake smiles. Prepare by becoming unbreakable. Prepare by sharpening your mind into a blade. Prepare by killing every ounce of hesitation left in you. Because when you stand before him, you won't just be meeting a man, you'll be meeting a living force. And if you're not ready to withstand it, you'll drown in it. Do you want to know why he shakes hands at all? He doesn't need to. Men like him don't require gestures, but he does it for one reason, to measure. He measures your grip, your pulse, the tension in your wrist, the steadiness of your eyes. In that single contact, he learns everything about you. He knows your courage, your weakness, your potential, your fear. You can't fake it. You can't trick him. He extracts the truth in less than a second. That's why it's terrifying. That's why the room will hold its breath when it happens. And yet, that's also why it's glorious. Because if you survive it, if you prove worthy, then you're no longer just another face in the crowd. You're no longer another disposable soul swallowed by mediocrity. You're stamped with recognition, and recognition from the most dangerous man alive isn't just honor, it's transformation. It means you now stand in the circle of the untouchable. It means you carry his shadow with you, everywhere you go, and others will feel it. They won't know why they hesitate when you enter the room. They won't understand why their voice cracks when they speak to you. But you will. You'll know. It's because you shook his hand, and now you're not the same. But remember, the transformation isn't the gift, it's the trial. The handshake doesn't crown you, it brands you. It says, you are mine to test, you are mine to shape, you are mine to break. And if you endure, mine to raise. That's the deal you step into. That's the reality you can't escape. And once you've stepped into it, there's no exit. You're either forged or you're destroyed. So when he comes, and he is coming, prepare yourself for the weight of history pressing down on your hand. Prepare for the eyes that strip you bare. Prepare for the war that erupts inside you the second your palms collide. Because this isn't about courtesy, this isn't about tradition, this is about survival. And survival in his world is a ruthless art. But here's the hidden twist. You were chosen because you can survive it. You were marked because something in you already resonates with his danger. Maybe you've always felt it, that you weren't meant for the shallow, that you weren't designed for safety, that somewhere inside you, there's a monster waiting to be awakened. He saw it, he recognized it, and now he's coming to drag it out of you. So don't ask why you, ask why not you. Don't shrink from the honor cloaked in terror. Don't run from the fire begging to reshape you. Step into it, embrace it, grip his hand like the world is watching, because it will be. And when you do, when you survive that grip, when you walk away carrying his mark, you'll finally understand what it means to be chosen by danger itself. And that, my chosen one, is when the game shifts. That's when your name begins to echo in places you've never stepped. That's when doors you never knocked on swing wide open. That's when you begin to feel what it means to walk in the gravity of true power. But don't get comfortable yet, because the handshake is only the trigger. The next phase, that's when the consequences of being chosen unfold. And trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. The moment your hand meets his, the air itself shifts. You'll feel it unmistakably, the vibration of raw authority, the pressure of a presence so immense it bends the space around you. It's not intimidation, it's calibration. Every fiber of your being will be measured, assessed, catalogued, and tested. He doesn't just see you, he reads you. Every hesitation, every heartbeat, every flicker of thought. It is as if your inner world has been exposed under a microscope of lethal precision. And in that instant, your life splits. The one you lived, and the one he has now marked. Marking isn't symbolic, it's transformative. Once his hand closes around yours, you inherit a responsibility you didn't ask for. The weight of recognition, of danger, of potential beyond imagination. It's yours. He doesn't ask for loyalty. He demands presence. Not presence in the room, but presence in the flow of power, the current of influence, the invisible yet undeniable force of consequence. Because being chosen by the most dangerous man alive doesn't make you safe. It makes you relevant. Terrifyingly, dangerously relevant. And here's the truth most people will never grasp. Relevance in his orbit isn't optional. It isn't a role that you audition for. It's an inevitability. You can't hide. You can't feign ignorance. You can't slip back into mediocrity. The moment your palms lock, you've crossed the threshold. Every action, every decision, every glance will carry weight now. Every movement resonates. Every breath echoes, and people, everyone around you, will feel it, even if they can't understand why. That's the subtle chaos he introduces, the disruption that cannot be contained. You'll notice it in their stares, in their hesitations, in the instinctive fear that clings to the periphery of their awareness. They'll sense the shadow you now carry, not because you've changed outwardly, though they'll see it, but because something invisible has attached to you. The gravity of a predator's gaze, the shadow of a man who reshapes destinies with nothing but his focus. And now you are tethered to it. Expect discomfort. The moment after the handshake is not triumph, it's trial. You will feel the friction of new expectations, the heat of unseen pressure, the tension between the person you were and the person you must now become. Doubts will rise, voices will whisper, temptation to retreat will claw at your consciousness. But this is where the elite separate themselves from the expendable. The ones who fold at this stage, they vanish quietly, never remembered. The ones who endure, they become instruments of inevitability, moving with precision that rivals his own. Now the psychological game intensifies. You will sense the invisible lines he draws, lines you must walk. Every choice is scrutinized, every hesitation analyzed, every success measured against the standards of a man whose existence rewrites rules. There is no safety net, there is no manual, there is only adaptation, and those who adapt swiftly, decisively, without fear, are the ones who will emerge not just surviving, but ascending. Here's the paradox. Fear is inevitable, but it can be harnessed. Every second under his scrutiny teaches you how to weaponize perception, how to turn tension into advantage, anticipation into strategy, proximity into leverage. Every subtle glance from him is a puzzle, every micro movement a lesson. He doesn't teach in words, he teaches in presence. And the lesson is always the same. The world is not forgiving, the world does not pause, and power bows to no one but those who can hold it without flinching. You must understand this. Survival isn't enough. Endurance alone will not suffice. The moment he shakes your hand, you're no longer merely a participant in life. You are a factor, a vector, a force. The world will begin to bend around the decisions you make. Because now, the most dangerous man alive has acknowledged your existence. An acknowledgement from him is more contagious than fire, more visible than sun. Once the ripple starts, nothing is the same again. Expect tests, not announced, not polite, not ceremonial. Tests will come like shadows that move faster than thought. He will observe how you handle scrutiny, how you wield influence, how you measure action against consequence. And every reaction is catalogued, every misstep is remembered, every display of fortitude is etched into his assessment of you. Because in his presence, triviality becomes impossible. Every choice is magnified. Every gesture, no matter how small, becomes a statement of intent. And here's where chaos meets opportunity. You now operate in a zone where ordinary rules collapse. The same instinct that made you visible to him, the hunger, the defiance, the spark, will now dictate your survival and your ascent. You will encounter challenges that feel disproportionate, situations that test the limits of endurance, people who underestimate you at their peril. But these challenges are not punishments. They are catalysts. Every encounter will either forge you stronger or expose cracks in your armor. Do not mistake this as chance. Do not frame it as coincidence. This is design, his design. The moment your hand met his, you entered a framework where only the capable thrive. Every trial, every tension, every pulse of danger is intentional. He is not teaching mercy, he is teaching clarity. Not comfort, but precision. Not compliance, but awakening. And once you internalize this, once you accept the magnitude of being chosen, you will begin to move through the world with an authority no one can resist. Here is the final, unavoidable truth. The most dangerous man alive does not extend his hand for admiration. He does it to catalyze transformation. And when you step into that transformation, everything familiar will dissolve. People you trusted, routines you relied on, assumptions you clung to, they all evaporate. What remains is raw capability, sharpened instinct, and a mind primed to perceive opportunity in the chaos that others fear. This is power, and this is why he came for you. So when he arrives, when his shadow stretches over you before his face even appears, do not flinch. Grip his hand with unyielding intent. Stand in the moment without excuses. Because every second you hesitate is a second lost, a second wasted. He doesn't reward caution, he rewards precision, courage, and audacity. And if you claim it, if you embrace it, the path forward becomes visible, clear, inevitable and unassailable. And then, the world begins to change. Not subtly, not in whispers. It shifts in response to the touch you just endured, the recognition you just received, the calibration of your potential against his lethal focus. People will notice, opportunities will emerge, and fear will follow you in the wake of your presence. Because once the hand of the most dangerous man alive closes on yours, you carry a new kind of signature, a signature that cannot be ignored, cannot be silenced, cannot be erased. And remember this, my chosen one. You were never meant to walk quietly. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to remain small. He didn't choose you by accident. He chose you because something in you aligns with the force of inevitability he embodies. That alignment is rare. That alignment is dangerous. And when harnessed, it makes you unstoppable. So prepare yourself, not for comfort, not for applause, not for validation. Prepare yourself for the consequences of being marked, for the weight of carrying the shadow of a man whose very existence rewrites the rules of engagement. Prepare yourself for the life-altering gravity of standing where few ever dare. And when the handshake comes, when the gaze pierces, when the world shrinks to the point where it's just you and him, rise, stand firm, accept it, and step into the phase that begins only after recognition, only after the most dangerous man alive has placed his eyes on you, and only after he has chosen to reach for your hand. Because this is no longer about observation. This is no longer about possibility. This is about the awakening of potential you never knew existed, the testing of limits you never thought you could survive, and the forging of a path that only the selected can walk. And you, my chosen one, are on that path now. The handshake is over. The real war begins, and there is no turning back.